play with those
Put your mask on. Put your mask on. No, you gotta wear it on, honey.
No, you gotta keep it on.
Put your mask on.
There you go. Keep it right there.
Yay, Mason! Yay!
Keep it on, Mason. Look, we're gonna keep it right here. Nope.
Peekaboo, I see you. Keep your mask on.
All right. That was back in 2021, but we may be on our way to that now. Keep going. Back to school mask mandates are back. Also, back to school violence is on the rise. We're going to talk about that and how across the country we're seeing violent outbreaks between high schoolers on campus and off. Also, the counterview segment. We are doing the counterview segment again with The View. We're going to respond to them and their critique of the Republican candidates. And Tucker Wendy Williams Carlson did his interview today of Larry Sinclair. We've watched it and we're going to tell you all about it. That is what the gentleman or the man who allegedly had sex with President Barack Obama while smoking crack cocaine. And the Democrats want to use the 14th Amendment against Trump and disqualify him. We're going to bring you all the latest in the court cases and whether or not this can actually work. All that and more next. Enemy territory here. Hello. It's Wednesday and it's time for Pop in Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, along with my beautiful co-host. We have T, and back with us this week is Shelly E. All right, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe so you get up-to-the-minute content when we post, and we certainly appreciate the support. You can also check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information. Guys, we are a necessary voice in news and entertainment. And join the conversation. We're going to be talking about all the salacious news and trending topics. Drop us a comment. We'd love to see what you guys say throughout the broadcast. And then also after the show, we love to comment and respond to those comments. All right, ladies, let's set it off. How are you all doing tonight?
Great.
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
Yeah,
all right.
I went to watch a movie. Did you hear about the new movie Constipation?
No.
Oh yeah. It never came out.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it was going. I knew it.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
I knew it was down that road.
Yeah. Well, speaking of movies, since you did talk about it, there is The Equalizer is set to come out. Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington. Yes, it was out last weekend, I think, last Thursday. So how many of you guys saw that? I wanted to see it, but didn't get a chance to go to the movie theater. But it is coming out. I'm a huge Denzel fan, huge Equalizer fan. So definitely want to check that out. Comment and let us know if you guys are into that movie, into the series, and what you think about it. Did anybody watch it yet?
I've only seen a clip. Well, a very little bit when I was away. Someone had it on the jailbreak box.
Oh,
okay.
I don't know.
not you, Shelley.
It wasn't me. I just saw a little bit of it. I won't spoil it, but you
No,
know,
don't tell me.
He does get
I've
sick.
been
No.
waiting. I've been waiting to see this movie. Please do not spoil it. All right, so we are moving right along to what is going on. As you guys saw at the top of the show, we had the back to school mask mandate. So that was a video clip of about 2 years ago of when they were trying to enforce the mask. But we're wondering, are we going to fall back into it? A slew of schools across America, according to Fox News, are reinstating mask mandates amid a surge in positive COVID tests, despite evidence they harm children's learning. In a letter sent to parents on Tuesday, Rosemary Hills Elementary School principal Rebecca Irwin Kennedy here in Maryland said she made the move after 3 or more individuals caught the virus in the last 10 days. So now students are mandated to wear masks for at least 10 days, and afterwards it's optional. It becomes optional. So the letter sparked outrage, with many fearing the reintroduction of mask mandates in schools is a slippery slope to return of COVID era restrictions. So, ladies, you guys have been seeing it. This was right here in Montgomery County. I believe there's a school in Alabama. There's school in Chicago. Do you think this is coming back? We're just starting. We haven't even gotten into fall yet.
Absolutely, it's coming back. I and many others have said for now, 3 years, that it will come back. The 2020 mask mandates, 15 days to slow the spread, was a test, a huge test. And as far as the left is concerned, it was successful. And I'll tell you why it's going to come back and why it was successful. Because most Americans, whether you were conservative or not, or Democrat or whatever, liberal, leftist, they fell automatically into this belief that the government knows best. So therefore, if the government says it, then it must be true. Why would it not come back? These children are going to be subjected again to this misery. And you mentioned the harm that it causes. There's absolutely no reason for young children, mind you, particularly 18 and under, to wear a mask. It is not. There's no reason. Again, as a conservative, if parents want their children to, God forbid, then of course the parent gets to decide. But there's no clinical reason to do so.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, T? Reports show despite the rise, rates remain at historic lows. For comparison, there were 150,000 COVID admissions per week at the height of the pandemic in January 2021, and hospitalizations reached as high as 44,000 a week earlier this year. So definitely down. What are your thoughts?
This is like an ex-boyfriend or ex-lover. Like, you just want it to go away and put it back, and it still wants to say, DM you or text you like, "Hey, big head, what's up?" Like, just leave me alone. We don't want you again. We remember when it happened in 2020. We didn't want to. Well, I barely wore masks anyway.
Me too.
But I just don't see what's the benefit, because if the numbers are low, why are we still bringing this back up? Why are we still? And this is Montgomery County. That's the same county where parents can't opt out for the schools to teach this gender, LGBTQ stuff.
Right.
So we can opt out for that, but we can't opt out for this. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, and it's not following the science. But speaking of science, Dr. Fauci is back in the news. He was on CNN just a couple of days ago talking about masks, where he's asked about this question and confronted by the science. Take a look at what he said here. This is clip number 2.
Years since the pandemic was first identified. But if public health officials feel it necessary to ask America to mask up again, how many would comply? The Drudge Report led its website this morning with the headline, "Not again, mask up in New York." Lead story at CBS News this morning, COVID hospitalizations on the rise as U.S. enters Labor Day weekend. The past several weeks have According to Gallup, in the first 2 years, public confidence in the U.S. healthcare system has dropped from 44% to 34%. And Donald Trump took to Truth Social to again make the issue political, accusing the latest outbreak to be hype designed to impact the 2024 election.
But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply.
Drag it with the blue. See if it
So
if it
don't
touches
even
them.
think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not
You can
abide
skip
by your
to go
mask
to
mandates.
215.
Hospitalizations certainly going in the wrong direction with looks like a late summer and into the fall surge. How bad it's going to get, we don't know. As you know, this is a very unpredictable virus, has shown us that over the last 3.5 years. I am concerned that people will not abide by recommendations. And we're not talking about mandates or forcing anybody, but when you have a situation where the volume of cases in society gets to a reasonably high level, particularly the vulnerable, those who are elderly and those with underlying conditions, are going to be more susceptible and vulnerable if they do get infected to get severe disease leading to hospitalizations. We know that. That's a fact. We've seen that. So I would hope that if, in fact, we get to the point where the volume of cases is such and organizations like the CDC recommend, CDC doesn't mandate anything, I mean, recommends that people wear masks, I would hope that they abide by the recommendation and take into account the risk to themselves and to their families. And again, we're not talking about forcing anybody to do anything.
Now this is where he corners
Totally
them.
understood. There is a perception out there by many, how many I don't know, that they don't work and that the data concludes that they didn't work in the first go-round. Respond to that on masks.
Yeah, well, that's not so. I mean, when you're talking about at the population level, that the data are less strong than knowing that if you look on a situation as an individual protecting themselves or protecting them from spreading it, there's no doubt that masks work. Different studies give different percentages of advantage of wearing it, but there's no doubt that the weight of the studies, and there have been many studies, indicate the benefit of wearing masks.
I'm going to refer to one of them. You've heard about it before. I heard about it from a number of radio callers. Brett Stevens in the Times talked about Cochrane. Put that on the screen. The most rigorous and comprehensive analysis of scientific studies conducted on the efficacy of masks for reducing the spread of respiratory illness, including COVID-19, was published last month. Its conclusions, said Tom Jefferson, the Oxford epidemiologist who is the lead author, were unambiguous. There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference. He told the journalist Mayan Demasi, full stop. But wait, hold on. What about the N95 masks as opposed to the lower quality surgical or cloth masks? Makes no difference. None of it, he said. Well, what about the studies that initially persuaded policymakers to impose mask mandates?
The Cochrane
they were convinced by
study.
non-randomized
It's like one of the highest
flawed
studies.
observational studies. How do we get beyond that finding of that particular review?
Let's see what he said.
Yeah, but there are other studies, Michael, that show at an individual level for individual. When you're talking about the effect on the epidemic or the pandemic as a whole, the data are less strong. But when you're talking about as an individual basis of someone protecting them.
Wow. Wow. So once again, this man, he refuses to follow the data. This man, Fauci, has gotten it wrong ever since the 80s when he was out talking about the AIDS epidemic, the AIDS virus, and he's still getting it wrong, and they continue to keep him on the television. What are your thoughts here?
So a couple things here. Number one, Fauci is mentioned, like you mentioned, he's faux. So now this Cochrane study, or this database or whatever, this randomized studies, these are some of the highest, or if not the highest level of rigorous studies in a clinical experimental environment that we can get data from. Cochrane has been accepted around the world for decades as a sort of the standard bearer, right? When you get a study from them, you can pretty much take it to the bank. Now, this man, Fauci, is basically discounting it because it goes against what his agenda, not even his evidence per se, but his agenda. And he talks about making recommendations. The CDC, he would hope that they follow recommendations. Why? It's a recommendation. It's not a should or ought to. It's a recommendation. People can make choices for themselves. And people do know that COVID virus, as real as it may be, does not affect children the same as it does elderly or people who have comorbidities. It just doesn't. And for 3 years or more now, these people have helped to make our medical institutions, the trust in them, that much lower. They have been discredited almost fully, but discredited to a significant level, as if not the other institutions that he represents. Fauci and all of these other establishment types in every industry have lost the trust of American people to our utter, I think, our hurt, because we can't trust them.
It's to the detriment. Not only that, Senator Rand Paul, he was on today and talking about this, and he made mention of it, and he said not one single child has died due to COVID that would, unless they had additional chronic disease or things like that. Not one healthy child has died of COVID ever since this pandemic has started. And they have pushed fear, and they have.
I was just going to say that. Here we go with the 2024 election season, and here they come with their bull crap talking about the same stuff 4 years ago. Like, it's their fear tactics. They're starting early. And Fauci, I thought he retired. Why is he still even in the news?
He did retire,
like, we've already figured out that he's not credible.
No,
so why is he still talking? Why is he even still, like, he's scary looking either? He looks like he probably needs some shots.
I have 4 words for them. 4 words. I will not comply. Period. That's the 5th.
Period.
So that's it. We are moving on. I hope you guys do the same. Again, use your own due diligence, use your own discretion when this comes, as you do throughout life. COVID is another virus. It definitely is serious depending on your individual health status, and circumstance.
As with anything.
Exactly. So you do your diligence and use your own discretion, but we will not be forced by fear, by just this overall power, this agenda that they have.
I'm so sick of seeing people. I don't care what your health status is. You can choose to do it, but if you're outside, take off the damn mask.
Yeah,
or in the car by yourself.
Yes, outside, take it off. We go to outdoor events and outings, and you see these people. This is how I'm sorry, guys. I hate to say this and to maybe I guess it's stereotypical, will push stereotypes. But when I see somebody outdoors with a mask on, I think they're nuts. I think they're nuts. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to think like that, because maybe they are suffering from conditions. But I saw somebody in the coffee shop the other day, and she comes in, this short woman, she had on all these colors, and she has a big mask, and it wasn't even N95. It was a loose surgical mask. And I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Most of them don't even wear the masks properly anyway.
No.
It's on their chins. I'm like, what's the point of having them
I think
on?
it's become a sort of a statement. Like,
it's an idiot statement.
Look at me. I'm complying, or I'm a big whatever. It's part of a psychological state. But please, outside, and like you said, in the car by yourself, take off the damn mask.
Heck, in 2020, if a guy tried to walk over to me wearing a mask, that's an automatically no. Don't try to holler at me with a mask on. Sir, you're complying. I cannot deal with somebody who complies with the government.
So we have to move on.
Go bye.
We do have to move on. But so we'll continue to follow that story. Hopefully we won't see any more Fauci this holiday season.
Oh my God. This is why they're coming out.
Oh my God. I don't want to see this man anymore.
Nightmare.
So
it ain't over.
Yeah. All right. We're moving right along to the violence we've seen an uptick in violence amongst teenagers. So here in Baltimore, Friday night's football game between Baltimore City's Dunbar High School and Loyola Blakefield, which is a private Catholic school in Towson, was cut short after a series of gunshots were fired outside of the game. Take a look at this news report.
Well, first of all, I want to show you the scene. It's still an active scene out here. Police have the road next to the stadium blocked off. Police said that a 12-year-old was shot, and at last check, they are in stable condition. But we actually spoke with a man who told us that he's a detective and was at the game when this all happened, and he jumped into action and saw the chaos as our cameras were rolling.
I've seen people running in panic, kids running in panic, parents, pregnant people, just out of control.
This is the moment that people at Friday's Dunbar High School football game ran in fear after gunshots rang out right next to the stadium.
This is where people are coming to learn. They come into a football game to have a good time and watch these kids play good football, and you got kids running around shooting at each other at a football game.
Hector Rosado told us that he's a detective and he jumped into action when the shooting happened.
I seen a young man with a gun running beside the bus. He had his gun in his hand. As I pulled my weapon to stop him from shooting, he proceeded to run between the cars and ran up Enza Street.
Around 7 o'clock Friday, investigators say that officers heard gunshots near Asquith and East Madison Street next to the stadium. A bullet struck a 12-year-old boy who was outside of the stadium near a crowd. Private security guards chased the shooter, but they got away.
But this is something that we should not be seeing anywhere, let alone when you have that many people in the area.
The mayor says it's another senseless act of violence.
We have to have a better accountability, but we also need everyone to step up.
At last check, the 12-year-old's in stable condition. Rosado says.
Brandon, please.
So sick of these Democratic leaders within these cities saying the same old stuff. This is ridiculous. Now, this occurred here in Baltimore City.
5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Literally from where we are.
Right. And that was a school. It was actually a county school who was playing this Baltimore City school. And this is why people don't even want to come in the city. You can't even go to a high school football game, an American pastime, without worrying about someone getting shot.
Exactly. This is
Shelly.
Yeah, I grew up in that area. It's called East Baltimore. I grew up in that area. I know the school well. My family members went to Dunbar High School. It's like a tradition in my family. I didn't go there, but I had to break the tradition, right? But right. So when I heard about it, it was just shocking. Number one. Now, to be clear, it was not at the game.
Right.
The football players, the students, and families had nothing to do with it. It was outside of the football field.
But close enough.
It was close enough. They were running. The field is literally in the middle of the city, right? Right. So, but the point is that I have come to the conclusion, just as the left likes to blame the gun when they want to take away gun rights, when a piece of shit kills or murders, harms people. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to blame the left, the Democrats, saying that they are killing our people in Baltimore. And let me tell you why. Because this session in Annapolis, we had our legislatures who, I forget the man from Montgomery County talking about, the senator who introduced a bill that was successfully passed, SB 1, that limited legal gun owners from where they could take and carry their legal firearms. But yet they also passed a law that said juveniles and young people who commit gun crimes, police cannot even question them. They have to have a parent and a lawyer there. They can't question them. So they are allowing these young people to run free, cause havoc on our streets at a football game. High school students can't even enjoy their sport and their craft without these young people running through the streets of Baltimore causing havoc. Not only are they causing havoc, they are slaughtering other young people. So now the statistics are that the young people are committing the crimes and the young people are also the victims, more so than the adults. It's a travesty whenever it happens to whomever. But our Annapolis legislature, the city council, they are, I'm going to call it, they are complicit in the murders that are happening in Baltimore City.
Shelly E. wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yeah, I mean, T, what are your thoughts? Why? What's going on? What I mean, is it a lack of is it a lack of law and order? Is this why we're seeing an uptick in youth and young adults killing and murdering each other?
You know, I find it interesting that of all people, Brandon Scott had something to say in this clip right here, because he's so busy worried about throwing parties around the city and inviting Kelly Rowland, who canceled and didn't want to come to Baltimore City. A couple of people canceled. He's so busy worried about parties that we still having these children getting killed and children carrying guns. Like, I don't understand where's the disconnect in throwing parties and your people are dying and being persecuted. I don't understand it. I happen to know the principal of Dunbar, and she's been doing an amazing job there. And she was so hurt. Like, my children don't deserve this. And they don't. The children don't deserve this.
Yeah, they absolutely don't. And it is sad. But until we in Baltimore City, until leadership gets this crime under control, the cycle will continue, because no one is going to want to invest in this city.
Right.
No one is going to want to buy and move to the city.
They already don't educate the children.
Right. So, I mean, the city will not progress if this crime is continuing to be rampant. You know, and speaking of the leadership here, we have something else. So you have Ryan Dorsey. He's a councilman here in Baltimore City. He was in the news recently after he got into a tug of war with a Lexington Market security guard who refused to let him bring his bicycle into the grocery store. Take a look at this clip.
Dorsey is seen stopped by a security guard. There's a brief conversation. Dorsey continues walking into the market with his bicycle. The security guard follows Dorsey, which prompts the lawmaker to turn around. He points at the guard repeatedly. It's unclear what the councilman said while pointing at the security guard. The video we obtained does not include sound. When the security guard begins to pull Dorsey's bicycle back outside, the two men end up fighting for control of the bike. The tussle continues as the security guard pulls the bicycle towards the entrance. After moving outside, several other security guards can be seen approaching Councilman Dorsey. A Lexington Market spokesperson tells us Councilman Dorsey has filed a complaint, and the matter is working its way through the legal system. That spokesperson also confirmed bicycles are not permitted inside Lexington Market.
Are not above the law,
once
sir.
again,
Get out of here.
Right. So once again, these Democratic leaders don't want to enforce the laws within Baltimore City, and they don't want to follow them.
Right. No, they want, it's called rules for thee, not for me. His ass, I love that the security guard and his colleagues came and just pushed his ass.
Look, it reminds me of Fresh Prince, you know, when Uncle
Oh,
Phil
yeah!
Way to go, bodyguards.
Exactly. But again, like the news said, this jackass Dorsey, yes, I'm calling you Dorsey, Ryan Dorsey, a jackass. Horsey's a good one. He filed a complaint against the security guard. We don't know what the complaint says, but we can assume that it's apparently because maybe he touched his bicycle. Your bike doesn't belong in Lexington Market. Lexington Market is this historic market. It has, sadly, it had been run down because the druggies were allowed to infest there and grow. Now it's been renovated. Bicycles don't belong in there. No. Not to mention, this jackass Dorsey also is one of the ones that is supporting all these damn bike lanes. When you got all these bike lanes, what the hell you need to take it in Lexington Market for? Get outside and park it in the goddamn bike lane. Yeah. That's what you're putting around the city.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have our own Pete Buttigieg, or as
Buttigieg ass.
Right. But as Biden says, booty juice. We have Pete Buttigieg here. This is our kind of example of Pete Buttigieg. His Ryan Dorsey. So he's one of these ones, these really leftists, he's lefty leftists who go around, he's pushing these bike lanes, he's pushing this idea of, getting rid of families in the city and making it a renter nation.
He wanted to get rid of police a few years ago.
He wanted to get police officers, he wanted to get rid of the statues, the historic statues here in Baltimore City that he felt like represented racism and things like that. I mean, this guy's the worst.
Perfect example of white liberal tears.
Exactly.
Yeah. They go and make all these laws, and then when it comes to they have to abide by them. Oh, I'm going to write a letter to your manager, or I'm going to do this. Exactly. what do you call them? Karen.
Okay.
He has become a Karen.
And let's not gloss over the fact, because the left like to use race. I'm going to throw it in here. The security guards, well, at least one of them, I think all of them were black. Ryan Dorsey is this white man. So you talk about white privilege, right? Who has the privilege? And he's going to file a complaint against this black security man who probably makes, I don't know, a little bit more than minimum wage for the job, or whatever the rate is. And he's going to file a complaint because the security guard was doing his job. And hopefully, if this man loses his job because of Ryan Dorsey's jackass bicycle, we need to go down in front of City Hall, sit in, sit out, whatever you call it, and get Ryan Dorsey's ass out. Not just his bicycle, get him out of City Council.
Right, exactly. So we will continue to follow this story. But again, this is what we have going on here. We have an uptick in violence against youth, perpetuating and youth murders. And then we have this going on, this leftist band who doesn't want to follow laws. And again, they don't want to enforce the laws
disconnected from
here
reality.
Yeah, exactly. So we are moving right along to our counter view segment. Yes. So
it's hard that you're cute and submissive. It's hard. I am a man repellent. It's hard because all I do is go to gay events and drag shows and anything to make a buck, save a buck. Anything to make a buck. It's hard.
So that is our count. This is our counter view segment. So the View is back this week. Wish they would have stayed wherever they were. At least we didn't have to see Nikki. She's out. You know, I do hope she does get better. She has
COVID again.
So yeah, right again, and
Which
she's
is probably
triple
just the
boosted.
cold.
She's back. She's triple vaxxed, triple boosted, and everything, and she's still getting COVID. So
that's your friend.
Yeah. So you know, but anyway, they had their show this week. And this is them talking about the GOP candidates. They weren't here during the debates, and so they had to get caught up. Take a look here.
There was a brief moment where I actually thought Nikki Haley was pretty good because she actually was the only one who went after him besides Christie and Asa.
Right.
Am I right? She said Trump added $8 trillion to our debt.
That's true.
And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. She said about Trump's 4 years in. She also said that Republicans have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. Okay? It's not just our audience.
When she called out the whole Republican Party, which I thought was bold on a stage where you're trying to win over primary voters who have proven to be rather extreme, she went after Trump, but she also said, let's not look at the Democrats here. Let's be honest. It's the Republicans. And I thought, whoa.
Right.
I was good with her for a while. I have faith in the American people. They know what they need to do. What happened to leading by example? What happened to saying, I would not support a convicted felon? And that is not what she did.
No.
And so for me, the things that she had said before that sounded really good, sounded self-serving.
Well, that disqualifies her for me,
It
right
also
there.
just feels like wish casting at this point. Like Donald Trump is going to be the nominee unless somebody really takes him, unless someone takes him to the woodshed on his unfitness in the next 6 months. Because just the reality of the congressional the primary calendar, the Iowa caucuses are coming up in January. Then you've got New Hampshire in February, and by March it's Super Tuesday. If no one beats him in Iowa and New Hampshire, it is game over. Nikki Haley was my winner of the night. I thought that was the Nikki I would love to support. Tough on China, confronting the GOP on the fact that we can be huge hypocrites on spending. We love to spend when we're in office, and we love to hit Democrats when they spend. And climate change. You will lose a whole generation of voters if you pretend that it's not a reality.
And abortion.
She, I thought, gave actually an extremely nuanced. You guys know. Quit putting that on women. Well, and that was important. You know, I'm personally pro-life, but I believe in some access and some restrictions. And she offered a take that seemed to show compassion, nuance, and believed in some access, which again, that's going to save you from getting absolutely destroyed in a general election.
What about her hypocrisy?
But this is where she loses me. She will not beat Trump by not taking him on. She would be polling, I bet, 20 points higher if she litigated the case against Donald Trump. If she said he is unfit,
You
he
think
tried
so?
to over.
What
I
about
think
the MAGA
so.
base? They won't go for that.
40% of the party is not with Trump. They're looking for someone else. And some of those
View giving their take on the GOP candidates. And we didn't get to the part where they pretty much begged black people not to vote for Trump. So they were talking about the polls. So they're showing, and they see that a lot of the polling is showing that Trump is running neck and neck with Joe Biden. And they're saying they're getting scared, and they're saying that they do not want Trump as president, and they are saying, begging Black people, who are the largest group of people, demographic, that votes for them, not to vote for President Trump. What are your thoughts here, Shelley, on their analysis?
Well, let me say this. I'm going to do this.
Oh my God.
The View loves Trump. Like, they want him to roll off of their tongues like this, honey. Like this. They think Trump rolls off. I mean, he rolls off their tongue like he's soothing. Like he's soothing.
Oh my God! What are you doing? Cut it! Cut it! Cut it! Cut it! Cut it!
He's soothing their sore throats. They use Trump's.
What in the world was that?
Look,
put it away! Somebody grab it!
I heard they said the conservative women are the freakiest.
They use his word about Trump. They use the word Trump about 20 times amongst all of them, right? In that little short clip. They love Trump.
Keep talking after
What in the world was that? I missed the metaphor. I missed the
Trump rolls off their tongue
analogy.
like honey. Like honey off you down your throat.
Oh my God.
They love Trump.
You could have brought a Pooh Bear and had them honey roll off of them. Oh my God.
I love it, Shirley. Way to go.
T.
Yes. I love it.
T. Please.
Look, my people, rolling off the tongue like honey. That is true, though. They keep this dude's name in their mouth.
They do.
This is why at the 46% he's at neck and neck with Biden.
They
the more that they do, the more that it's going to give him more votes.
They hold Trump's name in their mouth like you holding a good daggone piece of meat.
Like a mango.
Piece of meat.
Yeah.
Yes, love meat.
Right. Yeah, they're scared. They are scared. The Democrats are afraid. They do not know what's going to happen if Trump is elected, and it does look like he is going to be elected. Take a look at this clip. This is Morning Joe, where they are talking about the same thing and terrified of Trump.
Biden and Donald Trump in a dead heat in a 2024 general election matchup. In the survey, 46% say they would vote for Biden, while 46% say they would vote for Trump. 8% say they are undecided. So in this conversation, mixing this in really shows you where the country's at, Joe.
Well,
and it's
Gene, I mean,
Trumpified.
Just look at the numbers, Gene. You've got 46% of Americans supporting a guy who's been indicted 4 times, indicted for stealing nuclear secrets, indicted for stealing war plans, called a rapist by a New York judge, saying that what he did was akin to rape. You've got a guy that's being charged for his illegal payoffs to porn stars. I mean, we could go down the list. A guy who started a riot.
Afraid. They are shaking in their boots. All of the things that they have done, or at least almost all of the things that they have done to try to get Trump, get rid of him, and we're going to talk about it a little later, it looks like it's backfiring, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And we knew that would happen, and they begging Black people not to vote. But the more that they indict him, the more, like, the hood has Trump's back. And once you get the hoods back, that's solid.
Yeah. What they still don't get, they don't get this that Trump represents, again, the popular vote and the popular people. They don't get it. The left, they still don't get us, period, no matter what it is. It's just that they cannot get over the fact that this man still commands this much support across the demographics, right? It's not just the rich or it's across the demographics. Why? Because he speaks to the American spirit. He speaks to the American dream. And like T said, when a lot of Black people Black people are supporting Trump more and more. They may not like him personally and they have issues. Okay, that's fine. But they recognize him as sort of a victim. And see, this is where the left has played their cards wrong, because they thought that they could use this victim mentality to their benefit. Well, guess what? When you put it out there for years and years and years to the same demographic and you want them to be victims, well, then they're going to identify a victim. And Trump is one up right now.
Yeah, and we can't, all that is true, but we do have to also acknowledge that the person, the likely candidate for the Democrat Party, President Biden, is awful. His polling is awful. He's awful. He continues to show that he's too old to run. Take a look at this. This is him this week at the, I believe it was at the ceremony for some Gold Star families. Take a look here.
Extraordinary act of service to the nation and his comrades in arms. May Captain Taylor's bravery rekindle in all of us a spirit of sacrifice and steadfastness of purpose. And may this occasion renew our shared commitment to serve and support one another.
The ceremony was still going on, and this man, President Biden, Commander-in-Chief, just walks off the stage. He don't know where he's coming or going.
Yeah, his number one. I think when they were clapping, he probably thought they were clapping for him. You know how the president enters and exits the room? He probably thought in his demented mind, allegedly, that's what they were clapping for him. That's number one. Number two is that the people in that room, I wish somebody where his handlers, because they don't seem to have a grip on him.
They don't want to make it. They just go with it. So if he just wanders off, instead of them making a big deal about it, they just try to say, okay, this is part of the program.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the Democrat Party doing it on purpose, because they don't want him as the president either. They're trying to get him out of the stage so they can move in Gavin Newsom. I think this is all part of their little sordid plan to get him out. They're letting him do it because they really want the people to see how demented he is.
If they want the Democratic vote, then they're not going to mess their thing up. They're going to be the anti-Trump, so because they know Trump is going to be the nominee, so they're going to try to do everything. But this guy, the veteran, he looks so cute, but he's probably like 150 years old, but he still looks in better condition than Biden.
Only a year older.
He looks better than Biden. Everybody looks better than Biden. My 15-year-old kitty cat looks better than Biden.
Wait. Okay.
So I mean, but we do. What?
No, don't. We'll talk about it off air. Don't repeat it. Don't repeat it.
She's out of order today. I wish I had a gavel. I had a gavel. You out of order. Out of order. All right.
Just like women.
But we do. I do want to go over some of the numbers. So the winning GOP issues, according to the Real Clear Politics average, has Biden underwater on inflation, immigration, cultural extremism, spending, and job approval. He's underwater on these. Underwater. So then you have the swing state polling, which suggests GOP has 3 losing issues. So those losing issues in the polls are abortion bans, Trump, believe it or not, and January 6th. So, when we start talking about those issues to independents and swing voters, that's where we kind of take a dive. So, this is what we're talking about. And we saw in The View, they were talking about the GOP debate. You know, coming out of the debate, you know, we did do a debate night analysis, and you guys can go back and check that out if you missed it. But since the debate has gone, you know, we're about what, 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks
Yeah, 3 weeks away. You know, the candidates are pretty much where they were prior to. I think definitely Nikki Haley has come up a lot in the polls. I think she's polling a lot third now, behind DeSantis. And then Ramaswamy has fallen. He has dropped.
He should have. But that's another
Well,
show.
okay, I want to...
But
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I like to say, well, you have to go back to 2020. The people only voted for Biden because they were voting for the worst of the two evils. Right. They didn't vote for Biden because they actually liked him, his policies, or anything. They just didn't want Trump to be the president. And so they're proving themselves right by saying that Biden isn't worth a crap. Well, here we are. He's proven himself.
So yeah, I mean, and according to this Wall Street Journal poll that was just done, I think a couple days ago, again, Trump is polling well ahead of the GOP nominees, right? DeSantis has decreased since April. And you're right, Biden and Trump are neck and neck, even with the 8% of the independent voters. So if you take the 8% and split it 4 and 4, literally Biden and Trump are at 50% each, right? Right now they're 46%, 8 times half or whatever. So Nikki Haley came up slightly, but the thing is that for the GOP, I continue to say that if Trump is not going to be the nominee, then DeSantis and whomever else needs to step up their game. They can't take our vote for granted any more than Trump can by not showing up at a debate.
Right. Yeah, I certainly agree there. And I think the winning strategy for Republicans is to stick to the issues.
Yep.
So, you know, I do hope that, you know, if it is going like it's supposed to, if it is going like it is and Trump is the nominee, you know, and again, this is coming from somebody like me who's kind of hesitant, you know, about Trump being our nominee. Now, if he is the nominee, of course, I am going to vote for him. I do wish we would go another way, but that's another issue. But I want us to stick to the issues.
Right.
And so, you know, it does come off when Trump if and when he is the nominee, he won't stick to the issues. And then I think that's a big detriment to us beating Biden. I mean, Biden, he has a horrible track record, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, preventing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, keeping the China spy balloon here in our U.S. airspace. And don't forget, I think a lot of things, something we don't talk about much, is how he's depleted U.S. munitions and inventories. And he's invited, the big thing that I don't think we talk about a lot is our reserve, our currency issue is a huge deal. So basically, in short, foreigners around the world are now reevaluating the safety of the dollar because of Biden's policies. Right. That is a huge issue. If something happens and we lose the value of this dollar, that's it for us. Yeah. We lose our purchasing power. We stop being the reliable source across the world. So these are things that are very important to not just us, but our kids and their kids' kids. Yeah. So we have to get this man out of the White House. And I hope we do that in 2024.
I agree. I think we definitely, again, I'm going to put it back right now because we're in the Republican primary season. Republicans, we need to step up our game, whether it's DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Haley, whomever. We need to step up again and talk about the issues. And the number one issue on polls across time has been economics. We will not touch that. Economics cuts across all demographics. And that is the number one. When you can't put food on your table, protect your house, you can't send your kids and buy them clothes or things like that, then that is what is the equalizer. Talking about the Equalizer movie, that is the great equalizer.
I think that the RNC and all of these state GOPs need to get in and do their jobs. The fact that more people are like, okay, we're not really effing with the Democrats right now. Republicans, what y'all got? This is the opportunity for them to grab the attention and do all those things that, especially as conservatives, most people are conservative anyway. Yeah. So all of these issues that the Democrats are trying to throw in their faces and say, oh, this is, we should grab the attention of the independent voters and the Democratic voters and say, hey, this is what we got. We can help y'all.
Right. But we cannot do that if we have a candidate who is continuing to talk about his personal issues. And that is where Trump loses me. Yes, they have gone after Trump consistently. It is unfair. It's not right. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with the impeachment. All of it is awful. But people want to know, how am I going to feed my families? How am I going to get more money in my pocket? What is going on with this inflation? How is gas going to come down? Those are the important issues to most everyday Americans. And quite honestly, people, who don't love Trump, don't care about his legal issues. So, that cannot be front and center. When Trump gets in front of a crowd, he can't just riff off of, what's going on in his legal issues.
True. He needs to stay, whatever his platform
right.
is.
We do.
Stay focused on that.
We win on the issues. So, all right. All right. So we'll continue to monitor that and continue to watch this topic. I do want to acknowledge we have a super chatter here. Chadwick Frazier, he says, guys, let's support these ladies in this show. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, we have another one, Jeff Arrington.
Where did he
Thank
come from?
you so much. Well, we did see him. He was commenting on your honey thing going on here. So in case you guys missed that, you definitely watched the replay. She did something
Shelly
with honey.
was shellying.
I will let you rewatch. Okay, moving right along, we are going to the Tucker Carlson, Larry Sinclair interview. So this aired today. It aired this evening at 6:00. I watched it. We did watch it. And take a look at the clip. This is the trailer for the Tucker Carlson, Larry Sinclair interview.
You're just a guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't as long.
The guy's running for president and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
Wow. So smoking crack and having sex with dudes. He was talking about former President Barack Obama. So we're going to get into it. So this, according to the Daily Mail, Tucker Carlson, that was his interview with convicted. This guy's been called a convicted con artist who claims he engaged in a drug-fueled sex act with Barack Obama. So he claims that he alleges Obama bought and smoked crack with him before they had a sexual encounter in 1999. Sinclair first aired his claims during a 2008 election, including in a press conference that ended in his arrest on an outstanding larceny warrant, but has never offered proof of his allegations. A spokesperson for Obama's personnel office did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the dailymail.com on Tuesday. So, in fact, Sinclair notoriously failed the lie detector test in 2008 and then publicly accused Obama advisor David Axelrod of bribing the examiners to rig the results. Sinclair's history of sworn statements is also dubious. In 2004, he signed an affidavit claiming to be terminally ill as he sought to have a warrant dismissed, although nearly 2 decades later, as you can see, he is alive. So, I'll start with you, Shelly. You watched the Tucker interview.
I did. I watched it. And let me say this. This is what I came to the conclusion of. Apparently, men do kiss and tell.
Of course.
They do. I thought, first of all, Tucker did say at the beginning of the interview that they can't prove anything was true, but these are claims, they sound credible, whatever. I don't know why this interview had to happen. Although, again, yes, I'm for free speech. Say what the hell you want, right? This is over, this old, whatever. I don't care about Obama's gay sex, no tooth blowjobs. That man has blowjob with no teeth or whatever. I don't really care about that. What I do care about are the policies and how he ran or ran down the country. That's what I care about.
What's your thoughts on this, T?
I'm all about the facts and stuff, and I'm not easily persuaded. So I can't sit here and believe this guy. He looks like he just did crack right before the show. So I'm sorry, I can't. Even though it's Obama and it's Democrats, I'm just about what's real, and I can't believe it. I don't.
I mean, I watched the interview, and I thought this brought Tucker down a little bit because, and let me tell you why. Because I went in watching it, and I wanted to believe the guy, and I thought this was going to be a good interview, and maybe he did do it. Maybe it was true, but I thought Tucker failed to press him. Ask him about his background. Ask him about his credibility.
Ask him about his banana.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of questions that were kind of left, and then before I knew, the interview was over. So I felt like, that's why I said Tucker he was on his Wendy Williams.
Yeah, I didn't see the need for the interview. I mean, I was thinking like, what point or what gap is this serving? Most people know and or believe that Barack Obama is gay. Some people think that Michelle is a man. I don't care about people's sex, whether it's gay sex or heterosexual sex. Now, I just hope that, maybe he might have used some honey, because I say he didn't have any teeth. And apparently he blowjobbed Obama, what's his name? Barack Obama twice. I don't even know all of that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was like, again, I didn't mind knowing it because I love,
gossip.
tea. Gossip. Yeah. but it looked beneath Tucker. That's all I'm saying. It just looked. But I will say this, and this is what I was talking to earlier with someone about. I like the fact that I think it still should have been brought out. And the reason why is we have seen everything brought out about Trump. Mm-hmm. I mean, from the grab him by the PUSSY to the Stormy Daniels, all of it. So the biggest takeaway from this that I got was the media covered this up for years, and they should not have done that. They should have investigated. They should have talked about the inquiries, talked about this man, and let the chips fall where they may. Right. And they covered it up, and that's the big story.
Exactly. Did they cover it up, though? I remember, this reminds me of like the Bill Cosby case, because now when the letter came out from his ex-girlfriend that he used to fantasize about men and having sex with men and all that stuff, now all of a sudden this guy comes out, this toothless guy comes out. And it reminds me of, now that one person said something, now all of a sudden everybody's going to come out with their stories about Barack Obama. I mean, he did have a clean bill during his candidacy and during his
I agree with the media. The media covered up a lot. Exactly, the media covered up a lot. They did. Yeah, this has been out. Yeah, either he or another guy has been interviewed by Dinesh D'Souza in his documentary. So there's a whole lot of political shenanigans that have gone on. But you're right. If they brought this out about Trump, just for the salaciousness of it, then fine, all is fair in love and politics, I guess, right? And in the backseat of a limousine while he's smoking crack and snorting cocaine.
I can't imagine Obama smoking crack.
Why not? Bill Clinton said he smoked weed. He didn't inhale.
Maybe having some lines with Hunter. Him and
Chicago.
Please. Probably.
Please.
I just can't imagine him smoking crack.
I didn't vote for Barack Obama, so I'm not defending him from one thing or the other. I didn't vote for him. I would not vote for him. And
I do with votes.
I'm just saying that. So people are going to say, well, you're defending him.
From the south side of Chicago, okay? He's seen some crack.
And he smoked it. And he also smoked some, apparently.
I can't see crack. I can see cocaine snorting lines with Hunter.
Well, according to Biden, Obama, this must be the tequila. Barack Obama's ass,
take that away from her.
Barack Obama's ass should be in jail because he hasn't crack cocaine. According to Biden's law, right? Barack Obama, a black man from some Chicago, he should be in jail because he sniffed.
Crime Bill of '94.
Yeah, he should be. Why should he be? He should be.
Because it hasn't been proven. This guy came from nowhere with his toothless crackhead self. Hunter probably put him up to it.
Well,
and Hunter didn't pay him. That's what happened.
And another takeaway of if it is true, you have again Barack Obama and the left pushing against white people and privilege and all this. And here he's had this white man
and a white girlfriend, and the ex-girlfriend.
He doesn't even look like Obama's type, though.
Like, girl, please.
I would think that Obama would have a better taste.
A
than this
hard
guy.
dick don't care about type if it's getting blown.
Well, that's true, but I mean, it's Obama. He has, you know what I mean. Okay. Even though he has Michelle, but I would think that he has better taste than that.
Well, first of all, Michelle.
Now we're gonna have to get censored because of Shelley.
But Michelle's not the looker of this.
He's not. However, he had to get what he could get at the time.
Okay, I gotta say my famous, not my words, my famous 13 words from Obama.
13.
Yeah. We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America, and that's what he's done.
He certainly has, and his legacy is LGBT.
Yeah,
yes. It all started with him. He was not the first black president. He was the first gay president now, and maybe the first president to smoke crack. I don't know, but
Shelley,
yeah. So, we're looking at you guys' comments. Yeah, Shelley is off the hook tonight. But we have
Hey,
to.
Krista.
Oh, Krista.
Don't
Yes.
do crack because crack is whack.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
what
Krista. She said. She said. What is it?
Whitney Houston, don't do crack.
Yeah.
Paraphrasing Whitney Houston, don't do crack.
We can't
because
read it.
crack is whack.
Yep. Yeah. That's right. Thank you so much, Super Chatter, Krista.
And what's the guy's name? The guy with
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
No, the guy, Tina Marie.
Oh, Rick James.
Rick James said, I don't do crack. But if I did do crack, it wouldn't be with that toothless guy. Says Obama.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. We watched it on Tucker. It's a very short interview. It was done before it began. So I think it was like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Yeah. So definitely check it out. Tell us what you guys think. Comment after you watch it and let us know. Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? And do you think this was something good for Tucker to do?
Do you smoke crack though?
You can smoke it, snort it, whatever.
Snort crack?
No.
I mean, well, same.
Because I know he's used to smoke cigarettes. I wonder if he used to lace the cigarettes with. Oh, you can't do that with
you can.
crack.
You can lace the cigarette with.
Let's ask Hunter.
Right. So,
any of the audience, if anybody ever used to sell drugs or anything, it's okay. Just let us know because we don't know.
Well, no, we don't even care. I don't really care.
Definitely not okay.
Yeah, no.
It's not okay.
We don't endorse drugs. We don't want to do no drugs. Drugs are bad.
Just curious.
Yeah. So, all right, we're moving right along to the 14th Amendment. So this again is the left's ongoing not charade, but campaign against Trump, and now they're trying to do it with the 14th Amendment. So according to the National Review, critics of Donald Trump are increasingly leaning into the theory that a section of the 14th Amendment could keep the former president off the ballot in 2024. But Trump's challengers and National Review's legal experts aren't sold. So they actually have, I think it's the Citizens for Ethics and Responsibility in Washington have filed a lawsuit based on this theory. The lawsuit filed by the liberal group on behalf of 6 Republican and unaffiliated Colorado voters argues that the insurrection provision in the amendment disqualifies Trump from running for president. The Colorado suit is the first to be filed by an organization with significant legal resources, per the Associated Press. So if similar challenges are filed in other states and reach conflicting resolutions, the issue could ultimately end up in the Supreme Court. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something that can be done?
First of all, I do think all of these indictments and with Trump, they will end up in the Supreme Court eventually at some point. I think they will. Number one. Number two, they're talking about the Amendment, 14th Amendment, Section 3, where it talks about it being having an insurrection or rebellion, and that certain offices of the government, they cannot participate in these events, right? But the last line of that says that Congress may vote by a 2/3 vote to remove this disability. There's a prevention or a provision that, number one, the vice president, whomever else is listed, they cannot be prosecuted for this. And let's not forget, Trump has been impeached and he was cleared by Congress. So he was not charged with anything. He did not get convicted. He was not sent to prison. He was not removed, or his presidential status, if you will, was not removed from him. So this, to me, this is not just a Supreme Court case, and I think it will be, but right now, to me, this is like a double jeopardy case with Trump. They're trying to prosecute him for something that he's already been prosecuted for. But that's also against our Constitution.
It said engaged in. So although I didn't believe he had anything to do with it, but they said if they're engaged, because they're trying to blame him for it. But this is a group. It's not an official. Official.
Right.
Well, they're filing
like an amicus brief.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna make it to the Supreme Court because it's just. Who are these people?
Right.
Nobody's.
But just like Shelley, you said, he was not disqualified under impeachment. He was not even. That wasn't something that
they can't prove it.
Yeah. So if it was insurrection, if he was part of an insurrection, they would have used that to impeach him, and they did not. They did not. So again, this is another. I mean, people are they are relentless. They are relentless. And Trump derangement syndrome is real
on both sides.
Yes.
But you know what I remember though? He's probably getting a taste of his own medicine because he was relentless about Obama not being a citizen and his birth certificate.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's totally not the same big issues, but he's probably getting a taste of his own medicine here.
This man to them he represents all manner of evil to them. And they're even in their warped mind. And now Trump represents evil to them, but they don't understand how they're, going after children and all this pedophilia and, throwing drag queen parts in children's faces. They don't think that's evil. But it's just amazing.
But this one person is bothering them so badly that they can just keep going after him. I don't understand it. Like, what is it y'all dream about this dude? Wow, here goes the honey. Hand over to Shelley.
Oh my God.
Keep rolling off.
Well,
and she got the good honey too. That's not just like the honey that comes in the cheap stuff.
Right. So as you can see, plenty of stuff to talk about. So we will continue to follow this story. I don't think it's going anywhere either, but we will continue to follow it and keep you guys up to date on the actions that take place. All right, so that does it for us tonight. Yeah. Any final thoughts, ladies?
We didn't talk about the Latino guy that got 25 years?
Oh, from the J6 guy from Proud Boys.
That's crazy how they can get convicted, but it wasn't a real thing.
Again, part of the political prisoners. The left, the Democrat Party, Biden at the head, the DOJ now, they are going after anyone, particularly with J6, but anyone, they're going to make an example, Trump on down. If you don't believe that the election was fair, if you think that they are, they're wrong, they stolen elections, things like that, then they're coming after you. This is why Trump is important to them in that sense, because they know that the people will latch onto him, and he's really an example to the rest of us. They're coming after Trump, they will come after any of us for anything.
Yeah, and then that one guy, not just the Proud Boys,
the black
but no, there was another guy, I believe, like either in Tennessee or somewhere where, was it 2.5 years later, the FBI show up at his door and arrested him for going to the J6 protest. This was all over the news too.
Wow.
Let's 5 FBI SUVs.
Let's just say something. I know we're about to leave, but first of all, it is not illegal to go to the Capitol to protest. It's not illegal. It's not illegal to go to DC. So that's just at the foundation. It's not illegal for any American citizen to exercise his or her First Amendment right. Remember, we started talking about COVID. They tried to do that during the lockdowns as well. Yeah. Even here in Maryland, liberal Maryland, with our former Governor Hogan when he was in charge. So again, this is, to me, all of these things tie together in that they deal with the fundamental issues, our constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. They don't want us to have them. They hate America, the left does. Mm-hmm. They really want our Constitution burned up and ripped apart and
so they can
destroyed.
Control.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to push back, and we got to continue to fight. We got to continue to speak out about it. This is why we started this podcast, this web show. We started this because we felt like we weren't being heard. We were conservatives here in Baltimore City, and
of all places,
right? And we weren't.
There's a lot of us here.
Yeah, and
they don't like us either.
Right. They don't. But what?
But we don't care.
We don't care. Right. We don't care. We continue to speak. We continue to push out and talk about this, and we developed such a great following with you guys.
Hats off to you guys. We read all the comments.
Over 2 million views, right?
Yes. We have over 2 million.
And we read
views.
all of your comments.
Right. And the subscribers are going up. So please continue to share this broadcast. Send it in a DM. Share it with your family, with your friends. Mm-hmm. We were all once liberals, believe it or not. I don't know about Shelley. But
I've been in the game before it was trendy. Before y'all wanted to be like, I've been 15 years.
We were used to be liberal at one time in our life.
Because we didn't know any better.
Right.
I'm like Vivek Ramaswamy. My first time I voted for president, I voted for Bill Clinton the first time. After that, no. So do the math.
Yeah, right. So we have been there, and we can talk to both sides. And we understand that this is the right side because it's about truth. And personally, for me, it's about religious freedom. And so, and protecting my child, parental rights, things like that. So we share this broadcast because we know how it is to be a liberal and be wandering in the dark like our president right now. But he's in the light.
And again, we said this before, and we don't say this to just boast about it, but we actually live and breathe here. We live in Baltimore. We live here. We breathe. We interact with people here. We're not like this is you and this is me. No, we live here. And we experience the same results and consequences of our leftist government in DC. Annapolis, DC,
everywhere,
and Baltimore City.
Right, exactly, and we see that they are, inconsistent and doing poorly.
And we try to fight against this oppressive mentality that they ingrained in their brains.
Right.
And some people, I want to say that some people are getting it. They're waking up.
I
think definitely waking up.
Yeah, I think so too. Mm-hmm. I think so too. People are
waking
up.
Thanks to us.
Yeah, people are waking up. I believe so too. So we got to continue to fight. We got to continue to talk, discuss, and spread the word. So there you have it. So again, this brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Continue the conversation by, again, checking us out on this YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're all on Instagram. And subscribe to this broadcast. That does make our voice that much stronger. And comment. Each time you comment, each time you subscribe, it pushes us up on the YouTube algorithm, and we certainly appreciate the support. We are an independent media, Pop and Politics. You can go to our website, www.popandpoliticslive.com for up-to-date information, and send your email there. Send us an email on our website. We definitely will respond to that as well. All right, until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose.
And eat honey.
Oh my gosh. It's Winnie the Pooh. Good night.